Illuminati.
Okay.
Where it originates.
Before that,
Before
that, is there such thing as Illuminati? That was my question. Before, what is?
All right, I got you.
And if so, what is it?
All right.
And then I've seen a documentary on it, so I have questions like, is it, from what I've seen,
All right.
it's a combination of the most powerful white men in the world. Not America, but the world. And
Okay.
these white men run the world.
Okay, so y'all want to answer all these questions. All right, now if y'all ask questions, camera woman, you just turn the camera around on them. And if y'all ask questions, all right, get ready. Yes, the Illuminati is real, but it depends on how you're asking, though. It goes back. It depends on how you're asking. The people, yes, sir. Well, let me finish this thought. Let me finish this thought because the Illuminati is not real, but it is real. Okay, I need to. Right now, I'm wide open, and another intellect out there will watch this later and be like, "Man, he left something out," and I don't want to leave nothing out. Okay, the Illuminati is real. The question that you asked, I believe, is when did they start, or something like that. At the beginning of what you would call America, there was some secret groups. The Illuminati was one of them, and about I'm gonna get the date wrong. I haven't researched this in such a long time, but let's say about 1786 to 1802, they drop off the face of the earth. They go super secret. All right, boom. That's that. Okay. So it did exist, because I believe you asked that question. It absolutely existed, and they're far more than just the Illuminati as a group of secrecy. You got those skull and bones. So many
So
different.
that was real.
Yes.
Okay.
It comes out of Harvard. Yes, and has many presidents that have been president of the United States of America. Now, the reason I say this is layers, because you got to think about it this way, okay? If there is someone running the world, which we'll get to it if that's happening, okay? For you to know their name is ridiculous. I need y'all to get, the reason I say yes, it's Illuminati, no, it's not, because if y'all keep calling it Illuminati, then it ain't the Illuminati that's running the world. If you're going to believe that someone's running the world, which we'll get to that in a second, you don't know their name. I need you to get that. I need you to get that real power is felt, not seen. Mm-hmm. So the more y'all keep saying, what are the odds that conspiracy theory, world and commonality knows a great secret? If there is an oligarchy, is what you would call it, a group of people, a small group of people running the world, you don't know who they are. You don't know their names. And you never will. Because if you know the name of real power, then it ain't power. It's just not. So yes, if I were part of the oligarchy, I would let you think Illuminati and feed you Illuminati stuff so you never look at me. Are you processing this? Alright, well, that's that. You might have to repeat some of these questions. I got 8 of them in my head. I may miss some of the questions. I was darting them off. 8 of them. When it started, I answered that. At the beginning of the formation of the country that we now call America. And I say that country we now call America because although I am American, I understand that there was no American. Like I need you to get that. There is a Spain for Spanish-speaking people, Spaniards. There is a Russia for people who speak Russian. There was or Soviet Union. Well, that's later. There was a. Give me other places. There was France for French people. You get it? These what this was how. Let me give you a little history. You have what you would call the apostolic period. That's from after the death of Jesus to 100 AD. Then from 100 AD, apostolic period. Let's push that to 500. If you push all the apostolic fathers, okay, all of them, 500 AD. From 500 AD to 1500 AD, you have what you call the Dark Ages, okay? That means we just don't know what people was talking about. Then right after the Dark Ages, you have what you call the Renaissance period, from 1501 to about 1750. Then after 1750, you have the Modern period. And that lasts to about I back up. From 1750 to 1850-ish, you have the Enlightenment period. The rest of them don't matter, because that's why I brought up the Enlightenment period. So during the time of Enlightenment, the Enlightenment period, there were secret societies that had esoteric knowledge, Masons, all that stuff. Illuminati would be one of those. Got it? Cool. That explains that little piece right there. While this section was happening in the Enlightenment period, let's back up a little bit. During the time of 1500 to 1750 is when the world starts shifting to what you will call nation states. That means there was Germany for Germans. Mm-hmm. There was France for French people. You get the pattern here. Mm-hmm. America doesn't fit that model. You get it. Mm-hmm. Speak American, man. That doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. You understand? Because America is a whole different animal in itself. And the reason I won't say that, the reason I keep saying as an intellect, the country we now call America, because I understand people were here. Mm-hmm. It was not vacant. There was some bloodshed and power that moved. Mm-hmm. You call them Native Americans, and all Native Americans were not Indian. Right. Tons of them look like me. Okay? This is just facts on facts on facts. Right. To include, man, let me tell y'all something. History is written by the winners. Mm-hmm. Winners manipulate history. Mm-hmm. Is what it is. Mm-hmm. If I won, I'm going to write a history, and I'm going to write the one that makes me look good. Period. Period. All right. Now, answer a few of them. Yes. Now, the last question I'm going to answer, and then I'll let you fire off at me, is who's actually in charge? Because you asked that in a flurry of all the questions that came to me. Follow the money. You remember Rush Hour? Mm-hmm. Jackie Chan, yeah. Chris Tucker. Uh-huh.
Follow the money.
Hey, it's part one. It was wisdom. It was with Jackie Chan trying to do all this investigating stuff, you know. Let me dot my I, cross my T, do Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and you know, get my slope together, y equals mx plus b. Did I get both of those right? Mm-hmm. Mathematician? Okay, cool. I don't know how they still in my head, right? All that stuff. And then Chris Tucker's like, oh man, I solved it already. Just follow the white man with the money. Okay. If you want to know who runs the world, if someone is running the world, follow the money. Let's call it the dominant culture. Okay. Now you can replace dominant culture with America, the Allies, or Western world. It's up to you. I won't. I'm just gonna say the dominant culture. Okay. It leaves me a little wiggle room to block people who will give me bad comments. Okay. Dominant culture. However you say the dominant culture of this world, whether that be whatever you want to make it, only have a problem with countries that don't have a central bank. All right. Now I'm finna put my foot on it. Did you just process what I said? The dominant culture and the countries they represent only go to war or have enemies against countries that the dominant culture does not have a centralized bank in. The question is, what's a central bank? If you don't know,
that was going to be my next question.
How does America exist? Remember, there was France for French people, German for German people. I need you to get that. Those were called nation states. What happened was, well, we look alike, we speak alike. Let's create a nation state. And nation states had their own money. Before there was countries that had one currency, you would have, Germany was split into 40 different sections. 40 different nation states. All had their own economy, all had their own currency. All right? And this is, I gave that timeline from 1500 to 1750. And it took off even greater from 1750 to the modern period. That's where you get World War I and II. Okay? And in there, implicit, that means hidden, is you get both scientific, what's called revolutions. The scientific ages 1 and 2, when you get Darwin's theory and all that stuff. All this plays a part into it, but I'm skipping it because I'm kind of talking at the level of our understanding, right? Cool. Now, understanding that much, America in the Enlightenment period said, we don't need no king. That's stupid. The king oppresses me. Have you read the Declaration of Independence? Somebody pull it up. Somebody just Google the Declaration, the text of the Declaration of Independence. I dare you. This is pure. This is a Enlightenment document. This is an Enlightenment document where there is no. Well, anyway, I'll speak at a level of understanding. First one has it. Somebody pull it up. I want you to start reading from the first line. Give it to me. I'll read it. Is that you? You got it? How can y'all not find the Declaration of Independence and y'all American? The words. Oh my God. Or maybe it's Google. Oh, your phone had to start up. And the internet's slow. That's what it is. Declaration. Anybody?
The unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America?
Yes.
When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political band.
Okay, listen. It becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political band.
Which have connected them with
you talk a little loud.
Which have connected them with another.
Yep.
And to assume among the powers of the earth.
Yep.
The separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitled them.
Okay.
A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation.
All right, see, basically, it is our God-given right to separate from our oppressive power. That's what that means, okay? We're not separating because we're terrorists. No, we wouldn't say terrorists then. Because we're treasonous. We're not, because that's treason what they did. Had the fathers of this country been caught, had they lost, they'd all been hung. All been hung. Or, since it's Europe, close enough to, well, actually time Britain didn't really like France too much. Actually, not at all. So they wouldn't have got the guillotine. It just would have been hung. Yeah. No. Britain didn't like, no. That's been a war for many times. Okay, now you're going to find out here in a little bit, it's going to say, hey, we don't need no king to oppress us. That's me giving it to you. What was the oppression? First off, king was in England. Secondly, America had it pretty, well, the colonies, what they were called, had it pretty good. Then what happened, since Britain was, the saying was, the sun never sets. I forget what the saying is. It basically, the sun never sets on the throne or on the crown. Basically, Britain owned the whole world. They conquered the whole world. I just can't remember the saying right now. But nevertheless, they had from western to eastern. India didn't get released from Britain rule until 1947. 1947. Your grandmother might be that old.
I got your phrase.
Okay, what's the phrase?
The sun never sets on the British Empire.
There you go. That's what it is. I said the crown. The sun never sets on the British Empire because no matter where the sun was, Britain owned it. Now, since they had to own all that, they had to pay for it. So they taxed the colonies.
And that's what they were getting their independence from.
That's what the Boston Tea Party is all about. But I'm answering what is the central bank question. This is what I'm answering. Okay, this is no rant. I'm answering the central bank question, but I got to give you history. Okay, now they say, well, you know what? We don't want, and you've heard this before, no taxation without representation. If you're going to tax us, then we should have a seat in Parliament. We should be able to vote. Of course, Britain says no. But then watch this here. What happens was, eventually they would say, well, look, all right, colonies, okay. You pay this little, and we'll even give you some representation. This is real history. It's just, please, just, come on, work with us. But of course, by then, we'll already turn, no, not doing none of that. Okay? And then proceed to write an Enlightenment document. I keep using that on purpose. An Enlightenment document came from John Locke. Okay, have you ever seen the series Lost? There's a guy named John Locke. He really represents the idea of what John Locke did. John Locke created the idea, the movement of enlightenment in England or in Europe about how man was free from everything, free from religion, free from rule. We respect the king, but intellectual reasoning is our highest God. They actually snatched all miracles out the Bible because you couldn't intellectually understand, right? Just get that out of there.
Wow.
Just get that out of there. And from Europe, it went all the way to America and around the world. This Enlightenment theory, our intellectual reasoning is best. Now I want you to read those lines you read to me and see how intellectually reasoning that is.
The same thing I just read.
The same thing you just read.
The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. Nature, political bands. You stop. I pretty much got the whole Declaration of Independence memorized, right? The nature, I'm a nerd, but I do have degrees, right? I kind of had to study this. In my degree field, I had to study this. World history is something I got down. The political bands, we're severing those and becoming separate but equal. This is what all this is saying. It's poetically written for you. It's actually regular English then. It's old English. It was regular English. But now, you speak differently. As long as a language is alive, it's going to change. Then, they said, we got a problem. Now, what was the real problem, ladies and gentlemen? The real problem wasn't taxes. The real problem was the central bank. The colonies did not want to pay any more money to feed the empire in England. Period.
And what were they paying?
They were paying tariffs, is what you would call them now. They were paying taxes on everything, especially cotton, because America is a great import of cotton. The colonies, sugar would have been something in the colonies.
Cash crops, basically.
Yeah, but it was straight money though. Yeah, straight money. You know. Now they said we don't want the central bank, and they went to war over the central bank. Period. Point blank. Forget what anybody else tell you. First president, we ain't had no central bank. George Washington ain't had one. Didn't have one. 2 and 3, didn't have one. And I don't want to say who it is because my memory's a bit foggy here. I'm pretty sure I know who it is, but I don't want to say it on camera, right? Just know somewhere in the early stages of America, we said, we should start a central bank. Now I see why they did the central bank. Because now we're manifest destinying. What was manifest destiny? I got you. Don't. Manifest destiny was, it is our destiny to capture everything west of us.
That's what it means.
Yeah, manifest destiny. Yeah, it's a bunch. Anyway, it's more bloodshed. Okay. It is our destiny to make into reality everything west of us. We got 50 states, so I guess it's a good thing. We started off with 13 colonies, but a lot of people died in that process. And we're in Texas. We are a living, breathing example of manifest destiny. Native Americans, not so lucky. Not at all. Okay, manifest destiny means we're stronger than you. We got better technology. You out of there. It's not what it means, but that's what happened. Okay. Then once we start conquering stuff, man, we need a labor force. We need some money. Remember when we were young and we had to pay Britain? We should do that. We can't do that, man. We just went to war over that. Man, we got to do that. Now, let's talk central bank. Central bank, sir, is a bank that is not part of the federal government. The Federal Reserve, ladies and gentlemen, is not part of the federal government. It just bears the name federal or the title. It is not part of the government. As a matter of fact, in order for you, here's how money actually works. The government says, the United States government says, we want $1. Cool. Federal Reserve, can you give us $1? Sure. It's going to cost you. How much? $1. Okay, so let us borrow $1, and then we'll pass on our debt to the people we use it for. And what we'll do is we'll borrow $1 from you. Now we owe you federal government, Federal Reserve, that's not part of the federal. And then we'll pass it to the consumer, and then we'll make them pay taxes. It's cool. And then they'll pay you what we borrow. That's how money works. Right now.
That's why.
Right now, that's how money works.
That's why they make so much money, and they just. That's why they make so much money, and they just press. You know, and that's crazy.
Hey, it's crazy. And not only do they make so much money, now there's a formula to it because we're careful not to do it. Greece just tried to make so much money.
Right.
I don't know if you remember the great Greek downfall that just happened 4 years ago. Greek unemployment was 87%. Like 13 people out of 100 had jobs.
Wow.
Because they printed too much money. So what happened, it's called inflation. There's a formula with this. Inflation, how much money you got in circulation?
Right.
Now, if I just let everybody have money and if right now America says, you know what, I'm gonna let everybody have money. This is why black people, you won't get reparations. This is exactly why, because the system is built upon somebody got to not have a job. Somebody has to be poor, and we need a lot of that. Because if we don't, then money means nothing. I'll prove it to you. Imagine, and it's a capitalistic system, okay? This capitalistic system. Imagine you going in there and you hacked the system and you gave everybody poor $10 million a piece. Everybody. It's a lot of poor people. More poor people than rich. Everybody. All 323 million Americans. Would money mean anything now? If that don't make sense to you, imagine your girlfriend let 323 million men sleep with her. Would she be priceless anymore?
I know it.
Okay, you see the problem.
Yeah.
Oversupply, so no demand. Okay, you get it? All right, okay, but you get it. Since it's an oversupply, I don't want it no more. All right, the reason we can't just go print money left and right is because it'll make the money that's in circulation not valuable.
So if everybody stops spending money,
The whole system will crash.
but everybody gotta be joint. It gotta be a joint decision. Like let's say, okay, let's stop using money. You know what I'm saying? Let's quit our jobs. We're gonna quit spending money. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Then what?
Yeah, that would be a new system.
Right.
That would be a new system, which would be just fine.
But I was thinking like, what if they stop making money? Period. Then what? What's gonna be
The whole system
money? Like gold? You know, is it gonna go back to gold? Is it gonna go back to diamonds? You know,
gold was always money. That's why that's why America lifted all the gold. And when Reagan was president, they took all gold and threatened you. And in fact, way before Reagan was president, during the Great Depression, they took all of it. Okay, took all of it, and said if you got it, you're gonna go to jail, which you wasn't. But that's, people. The media says something over and over. It is what it is. Now, gold money, but it's just a promissory note. The money you use now wasn't really worth any. It was only worth something because you had this. Who has a dollar on you? It'd just be better if you got some sort of. Hand it to me. Yeah, hand it to me. This would be so much better. Using the real estate. Okay, there we go. Here I have $5. Okay. This meant in my weight of gold, I have the equivalent of $5. I then take your gold and I give you a promissory note. That's what it used to say on here. It used to say this was a promissory note. Now it just says it is a legal tender for all debts, public and private. It used to say this is a promissory note that we used to have a gold standard.
right?
We have movies in the 80s about the gold standards. Die Hard with a Vengeance with Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson. This is with a Russian enemy. Russia just became an enemy all over again. You were so worried about your whole life. You're 22, right? Yeah, I was in the army. Yeah, 2000. Yeah, your whole. When were you born? What year? 96. By 2001, we was worried about the Taliban in the East.
Right.
We just got worried back again about Russia. But before 2001, we was in a Cold War. Forever. And it was always Russia's the problem. So we have if you go look at an old action movie, it is a Russian enemy. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Is that because they have no central bank, and that's why we've been at war with them forever?
Russia has a central bank. We just don't have access to it. It ain't ours.
Oh.
It's Putin's at this time. You get it? Their democracy is a little different. But you nailed the problem. They got one, but it ain't mine.
And that's why they're an enemy, because we don't have access to their money.
That's right. It's the dominant culture way.
So can we go to Russia You know how currency changes, like you go to France, they give you go to Mexico, they give you pesos. Swap. So
Yep.
Can we go to Russia and switch into their currency with American money?
You can.
Okay.
You can. You can do it right now. I personally invest in foreign exchange. It's a 4X foreign exchange. It's a cash on cash, all liquid market, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never any breaks. It's when you take one ruble, the Russian ruble is what it's called. You take then you bet it against some other foreign exchange, money exchange, right? You get it with some other foreign exchange. Of course you can. Why?
That's like
Capitalism is over the whole world. Capitalism over the whole world. Why is China doing to Africa what Europeans did to Africa, because Africa has greater resources. That's a whole different conversation. Never mind. Let's forget I brought that up. Let's forget I brought that up. China also has a central bank that we don't have access to. You know who else is an enemy? Yeah, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. You know who else is an? If we didn't have, they're an enemy, but they're not an enemy. Okay. If they didn't vote so much and vote so conservatively, the Catholic Church. You gotta remember, the Catholic Church has the most, and they're Christian now. Let's clear this up. Catholic and Christian, Protestant, same thing. Okay, same thing. Catholics were just first because the split didn't happen in 1521 when Martin Luther inadvertently split the church. But I need you to understand that the Catholic Church has a central bank of their own, and we don't know how much is in it. We don't know. They're the largest owner of real estate in the world. They have probably the largest bank in the world. We don't know. The only reason why they're not declared enemies like Russia is we got a whole lot of them in America that vote. So it wouldn't be wise. This is why when JFK, John F. Kennedy, a Catholic president, this is why the political party at the time was so afraid, do some push-ups or something, was so afraid, right? Was so afraid of him kissing the ring of the Pope, because then now the Eastern world will control the Western world. Everything's about money. That's so concisely, your central bank question is, it is a bank in which the government does not control, but the government uses, which is just fine. Well, excuse me, the government does not own, but the government controls or uses. And control is equally as important as ownership. In my world, control is more important than ownership. More important, okay? Now, and by my world, I mean top 1% of society. Okay, I'm in the top 1% of my age group of income wealth. Okay, in the top 1% of my age group, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's say my age group for now. Control is more important than ownership. Period. For tax purposes. Okay, period. However, you need to understand that as long as we can't control their wealth, we go to war with them. Period. Muammar Gaddafi this isn't conspiracy, this is facts. He was playing with America and he stopped. And then he tried to liberate Africa with Nelson Mandela. He tried to start a gold-backed. Let me just leave that one alone. I know some stuff, and I don't really need a few people coming after me, so we'll just leave that one alone, okay?
Yes, sir.
But that's the truth. The truth. Once we have economic. Well, let me leave that one alone too. We do. Just know that whatever I didn't say, we do. It's true. 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 Now, with all that being said, is Illuminati real? No. Is it real? Yes. Yes, it's real because it exists and somebody out there claiming it. But the kind of, if you listen to what I just said, if you follow the money, that ain't Illuminati.
Right.
That's somebody you'll never see. You'll never know. But I can assure you, it's happening today. Yes, sir. He's got a question.
This is on a different subject.
That's fine.
Can you sell your soul?
Okay, that's what the Illuminati. You know what? Let me bring this up about Illuminati real quick because you're going back to Illuminati. You're just sneakily doing it. Okay, did y'all catch what he's doing?
Uh-huh.
All right, it's just sneak side doing it. Okay, so let's go back to it. Okay. Okay, let's go back to it. The reason I'm gonna let me ask you a question first, and then I'm gonna punch in the face with what I'm gonna say next. Okay, let me ask you a question first. You know, you can't sell your soul, but if you're using that as a phrase to mean, can you make deals that help you get further in life and always at the right place at the right time with the right people? And I'm trying to encompass this whole sell your soul and be behind curtains that don't exist and make deals with the proverbial devil, then yes, you can most certainly do that. In my world, they're business deals. You can most certainly do that, okay? You can most certainly do that. As far as selling your soul, man, whatever. That's,
I'm just saying that because you see most rappers.
Okay, that's what. So let me say what I'm finna say. Because if I told you, I'll go punch you in your head. The problem with y'all, and by y'all I mean everybody in this room and everybody outside of it, is you don't have enough facts to get with what you call Illuminati. That you don't even realize the only time you scream Illuminati is when someone black is successful. You don't even realize it. You don't even realize it. You don't even realize you're brainwashed. Look at his face. You don't even realize it. If it's Kelly Clarkson, you know what? She did a good job. If it's Jay-Z or Beyonce, look, the dude did something. You don't even realize that the real power that's felt but not seen has made you be convinced in order to be black and successful, you got to lose your soul. You got to sell it. So what do you do naturally? You don't fight for prosperity. And what do we... You don't want to sell your soul. And then what do we say in our churches?
It is better.
Black people, it's better for a rich man. I mean, no, it's better for a camel to go through eye needle. Don't gain prosperity. You'll lose your soul.
That's it.
What profits a man to gain the world, lose his soul? We start twisting up scriptures now. So what do we have? A bunch of generational after generational, all the way from slavery. Old slave man, you don't get this far. Do your work of the master, and when you die, God'll have your reward in heaven. This is exactly why black people don't save money the way other cultures and generations and cultures do. Okay? I'm not saying we don't save money. I'm saying as a collective. Because we're convinced that if you get it, you got to sell your soul. This was y'all conversation. I was here minding my business. So yes, every time you hear someone from now on tell you that some rapper, someone black that sold their soul, or in the Illuminati, I need you to understand that you are participating in the brainwashing of the dominant culture. Whatever you want the dominant culture to mean. That's up to you. Whoever has the power that is felt but not seen. Anything else? I done blew their face off.